Terrifying confession: has someone told you while drunk? I worked in a hospital and an alcoholic guy I knew from around my town came in. Of course he was very drunk, so he got to bed. He was homeless at this point. Just as he was starting to settle, he screamed, "I slit his fucking throat." So I went up to him and asked him to settle, and he started telling me that he did it while in the army and could never forgive himself for it. Cried himself to sleep and died in the local park a few months later. If my ex were still in love with me, I wouldn't be married to you. My sister's boyfriend at the time told me he thought he might have fallen for the wrong sister. Doesn't compare to most of these, but my sister is my best friend, and I was so scared he might ruin that. Once at a college party, this big guy got upset, picked up the table and threw it across the room, shouting, "My uncle molested me." Everyone was terrified, but we all felt really bad for the guy. Night before his wedding day. I'm still in love with C_, but I'm still gonna marry F_ tomorrow because it's too late now. I heard my mom tell her friend I was a mistake and the reason her and my dad divorced. That's why you don't eavesdrop. Went on a work do and my coworker, a major stone-faced bland woman, got pretty drunk. Ended up telling me she discovered her dad's body when he hung himself. Needless to say, I realized why she was the way she was after that. A coworker was pretty inebriated when he told me that he hates his life, he hates his partner, and the only reason he's still married to her is because he loves his daughter and doesn't want to lose her. Haha, I put Adderall in your beer. We're gonna party till the sun comes up, bro. Had a buddy tell me his friend drunkenly confessed to him that he had killed his stepdad and made it look like a suicide. His stepdad had been abusive towards him and his mom for years, and it finally broke when he made it look like his stepfather had hung himself in their garage. I don't know who the friend was, I was never given a name or much else of the story. My ex told me that he had been molested by his sister between the ages of 6 to 11. She was 9 to 14. His dad walked in once and didn't do anything. His own family knew that he was being sexually abused for years and did absolutely nothing to protect him. After a work party, the wife of a colleague and me ended up being the last two people standing. We were both fairly drunk when she started telling me about how she was raped by a priest when she was a kid. The church covered it all up and the bastard never faced any charges. I had a male friend tell me he had raped me once when I was passed out drunk. I'm a straight male and had been friends with this guy for 15 years and had been drunk with him a lot. Since then I have found out a lot of messed up stuff about him. I had someone tell me that he molested his daughter when she was an infant because he was angry and thought that his girlfriend had cheated on him and that she wasn't his biological daughter. He went on to say DNA testing was done and it was determined that she was actually his daughter and that he felt very guilty about the whole thing. His daughter was 7 to 8 at the time he told me this. I literally spent a night tossing and turning thinking about it and finally decided I had to report him. A co-worker told me she went all Angel of Mercy and smothered her elderly, dementia-ridden grandmother while she was sleeping. The next Monday in the office was definitely a weird one after that particular happy hour confession. A friend of mine died from a drug overdose. After the funeral, a mutual friend of ours and I were getting drunk when he broke down crying. He asked me if I remembered the time when he and our dead friend told me about an accident that they'd witnessed where they saw a truck driver die. I told him I did. He then told me the most fucked up shit. He said that our friend ran up to the dying man and stole his wedding ring, and that the man couldn't do anything but look up, terrified, at our friend as he was being robbed. I knew they were bad into drugs, but I never thought they could do anything like that. I grew up with them, they were like my brothers. I don't really trust anyone completely anymore. She told me she poisoned her abusive ex. I have a friend whose grandmother married her late husband's friend. One day while drunk he confessed to killing her first husband. She packed up the kids and left. I was having dinner with a group of friends and one girl was talking about how at a party she helped a drunk guy friend get onto a bed and then she got him naked and started riding him. She said he woke up halfway through but was receptive, was very happy and completely okay with it because he found her hot, and after they were done he joked to her that he would have punched her face in and called the cops if he didn't find her attractive. I honestly wasn't sure how I was supposed to react to that story, because what she did was technically rape, but then if her victim genuinely didn't mind, then yeah, I don't know. Granted, she was talking to a group of friends including me, so I didn't really have to give her a reaction. Guy I worked with was hanging out with me and my friends. My friends left and I was alone with coworker. He didn't seem that drunk but later claimed he was. He told me all about the fantasies he had about raping and torturing me. Yup, I left pretty promptly. My awesome boss at the time, who didn't say much about his life, confessed to me that his marriage wasn't something he wanted and that he's only staying in it for the love of his 2 young daughters. It was heartbreaking. I overheard a murder confession. I was at a resort in New England with my family. I went onto the balcony to smoke. I could hear people talking somewhere above and to my right. They were very drunk. The man said he was going crazy with guilt. He shot someone over a drug deal and he drives by the memorial all the time. I couldn't tell which unit the people were in. The man had no discernible accent. He never mentioned a city name or anything. No details at all. I really wish I could have helped solve a murder. In college, I was getting drunk with a couple friends. One admitted that she gave her brother a blowjob. Her brother had caught her watching lesbian porn and threatened to tell their parents if she didn't suck his dick. My other friend and I were horrified and asked her why she didn't just tell her parents first about her brother blackmailing her and that the claim she was watching lesbian porn was a lie. She paused for a second and said she didn't think of that. My parents told me while very drunk that they were very kinky, into heavy BDSM, and that my dad was a bottom. My stepmom reassured me that they were also kinkier than I was. Not fun. A friend of mine told me once we were out of college about his hazing back in freshman year of high school for wrestling. That was some repressed barbaric homosexual stuff. He started tearing up. It was bad. You hear about some of this hazing stuff, but there's plenty of times you don't hear about it and it goes unreported. That they witnessed a mugging/stabbing outside of a bar, and did nothing but watch the person bleed on the sidewalk. I asked why they didn't call 911 and the excuse was that they knew the stabbing and didn't want to snitch. I got drunk with my uncle and we started talking about relationships. And as a game, I asked, "What's the biggest mistake you've ever made in a relationship?" We went back and forth saying all the dumb and fucked up things we've done to the women in our lives. And it's escalating, and we're becoming more and more honest. Until eventually he shouts excitedly, "I beat her." It got dead silent. We drank quietly, then went to bed. It's never really been the same since. Me. Not drunk, but high as a kite. When I was in Peace Corps, I told my best friend that I loved him and then kissed him. I then realized what I did, and feared for my friendship with him. He told me, "I've known you were gay for over a year, and I've seen you glancing at me. It's okay, but I'm straight." To add to this, we were both just wearing boxer shorts, as it was hot as fuck in Khoi Karan, Thailand at the time. An ex, who was known for getting mad at me for having limits in the bedroom, told me she raped 2 women in HS and college. One so the bitch would leave her the fuck alone and the other agreed to it, said she enjoyed but never spoke to her again. When I was 14, my mom took me and my sisters and a couple of our friends to the beach. My sister, 15, and I got our own room with our 2 friends and wound up meeting some boys and getting drunk. My sister's friend, 15F, was really drunk and got super upset and confessed that her stepfather had been sexually molesting her, raping her, for years. Really horrible stuff. It sobered everyone up fast. We rallied around her, told her we were there for her, yada yada. But when we got home from the beach trip a few days later, I knew I needed to tell my mom. After I told my mom, she got the state police involved. There was a trial, and the man wound up sentenced to 8 years in prison. It turned out he was doing it to the younger sister as well. Once had someone tell me while drunk I need a girl with an open mind and tight vagina, cause I have a micro penis. That was pretty terrifying.